Hey everyone, it's Dr. Bryant here. And if you have kids with ADHD, listen up. Parents, you might be thinking to yourself, well, isn't every kid inattentive or hyperactive at times? I mean, especially if you're comparing them to adults. Come on now, they're always on the go, they're easily distracted, and they have endless amounts of energy. So you may see it and think that there may be something wrong. But on the whole, they're exhibiting completely normal behaviors. So when should you be concerned that it's a bigger issue? Well, a red flag should occur when they show a habit of these behaviors. Now, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is a condition in which those affected have difficulty with inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, regulating their mood, and organization, and it plagues about 3 to 5% of all school-aged children, making it the most commonly diagnosed mental disorder in kids. Now, raising a child with ADHD can be challenging, especially in the early years when they are rapidly developing and aren't old enough to try more traditional treatments. Now, ADHD may be complicated and without a cure, but what we do know is that maximizing brain health is a key factor in the successful management of this condition, and everything counts. So, technically speaking, ADHD is a brain disorder, and researchers have demonstrated differences in the brains of children with ADHD when compared to children without ADHD. And some of those differences continue beyond childhood up to 60%. Now, you may be thinking, what can we do to help improve the brain function of these kids in hopes it will have a positive effect on ADHD and all levels of health in general? Well, I'm going to share with you 3 things to avoid if your kid suffers from ADHD. First, avoid excessive sugar. A handful of studies have explored the relationship between refined sugar consumption and ADHD, and the general consensus was that there is no correlation or a poor correlation. While that seems surprising to most, it doesn't negate your experience. If as a parent you find your child's behavior worsens when sugar consumption is elevated, remove it from their diet. But what if you don't find a downward spiral in the moods and attitudes when gorging on sugary treats? It still doesn't make refined sugar a health food. Immune suppression, obesity, diabetes, and impaired learning are more than enough reasons to drop that sugar from your kid's diet. Number 2, avoid wheat. Now, gluten is a group of proteins found in wheat, rye, and barley. But in those who have celiac disease or gluten intolerance, exposure to these dietary proteins can lead to damage of the lining of the small intestines. In these instances, the digestion and absorption of nutrients are unable to occur properly, and the result is a broad spectrum of issues. For those dealing with ADHD and have celiac disease, there's a positive relationship with removing gluten from the diet and observing significant improvement in symptoms. Once again, we face the same situation as sugar. Whether dealing with ADHD or not, we need to ask ourselves, are foods that include wheat or other food toxins adding required nutrients to our child's diet without any significant negative effects? If not, there remains no purpose for their inclusion, at least not as a routine healthy food choice. 3, avoid inactivity. Causation, or simply a correlation, the massive increase in ADHD diagnoses over the past 20 years runs parallel with the alarming increase in adolescent inactivity. Add the drop in general activity, the standard desk life the majority of school-age kids deal with, and you got a recipe for disaster. So let's try out those 3 things and let us know how it goes.